Hello, everyone. Just want to pop in for about an hour. I think a little, about an hour. I want to go through some Pigman art over the years. If you're here, great guys. If you're not, I guess you can come back and see this. I think the Jack show is on. I just wanted to at least stream for a bit tonight. This was a very early drawing of Pigman. I don't know. It wasn't the first ones. I know that because he was thinner in the outset, even though I thought about a big character. I don't know. I was going back and forth, but this was a pretty early one, which with his final look. Hey, John. And he had the mitts, the short gloves instead of the long gloves like superheroes. Short gloves. He had the American flag. He was smaller. He was big, a little fat, a little bigger than he ended up being, and just a real quick doodle. I must have been somewhere. I'm thinking I was probably somewhere because it doesn't look like it's a really polished art, but it was something that I put together. And the ears, if you notice, they popped off to the sides. Not much detail, but it gives you the idea of what I was going for. Um, there's another drawing I did where he's crashing through the crescent, the Islamic crescent. I want to make sure I sound good. And then also I got a whole load here, and some of them I'm going to cringe a little. This I like. Making the enemy pray 10 times a day. Hey, Trevor. Scold, Trevor. Making the enemy pray 10 times a day. Instead of 5. Double it up. I ended up using this for my propaganda book, which I might even go through at some point. It's out of print at this point, so I might just go through it with you guys, at least the bulk of it. This is the gist of the story of Pigman, which was used to be called The Infidel, featuring Pigman. Twin brothers, Killian Duke and Salam Duke's Muslim background comes at the forefront of their lives in 9/11. Killian responds to the atrocity by creating a comic book about an ex-Muslim counter-jihad superhero called Pigman, as Salam fully surrenders to Islam. It becomes a battle between recovered Muslim and born-again Muslim, echoed by Pigman's battle against his archenemy, Super Jihad. If you notice, it's pretty obvious. Yeah, definitely, Trevor. Check it out. It's like a big, bulky. This was one of the early ones. It wasn't the first because I remember I had him even thinner than this at one point, and I got him really thick here, and then I pulled him back a little. It was just mainly the gut. Hey, Grey Wolf, and it's fun. I mean, I something about this drawing more than some of the early ones. I really has some charm to it. It has something about it. I don't know. I just like it. It's very rough, very rough. So yeah, I was just going through some old pigment art over the years. Um, these colors, cold colors for the bad guys, warm colors for the good guys. And if you look at this, this was my thinking here was I visited the Twin Towers. I went to I think my cousins and brother had like a wine tasting thing event there. So I went there and I remember looking up between them, and this is what I was trying to do. When you looked between the towers, looking up, these are the Twin Towers, and you got the twin brothers within the Twin Towers. It's not by accident, the design of this. And then you have the super echo of them in Super Jihad and Pigman with, of course, the Hitler mustache, and green, the color of Islam. The color of Islam. Trevor says, I always think about him as an overseasoned wrestler body. Absolutely. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. There's another image I did many years ago. 15? I don't even know. Above the law, Sharia law. And it's green, the color of Islam. I don't remember what I did this for exactly. I don't remember. But I just drew it. I liked the way it looked. I must publish it on my, Rowdy Popper. Rowdy Piper, excuse me. They Live, right? Was that him? They Live. This is one of the sketch cards I did over the years. I did many Pigman sketch cards. About as many as probably Muhammad, yeah. till the last drop of their blood. Was this for Breitbart? I think it was for Breitbart. I believe it was. Andrew allowed me to promote Pigman on Big Hollywood. Um, I believe this was for Breitbart, and I used my ink. I splattered it on the paper. You could tell there with my brush. Killian Duke, the creator of a Pigman within the story. Killian Duke. His name is Mehmet Dukai. Mehmet Dukai, and he changed it to Killian Duke. Yeah. Trevor says, yeah, they live in Return to Frogtown. I don't know that. He was in there as well. He wasn't bad. I remember They Live. It's a little cheesy 80s, but I think David Keith was in there. He's always good. Armed Force. I also had Guts, another image like this called Guts. What I did was I drew it and I flipped it. If you could tell, I inverted it inside Photoshop. I must have done it. Yeah, it was a detailed, like a pencil drawing, inverted to give the look of the Pigman costume, and I thought it was pretty strong. A hero with the guts to take on Jihad, with the stomach to take on Jihad. I got all these things. This was from Propaganda, which I used a similar. I redid this drawing for his rampage across the Islamic hellholes in the Infidel 3. Kill by the book, die by the book. Pigman says, and I thought the Quran had no value. It's a hardcover Quran. It can do some damage in the right hands. This is basically my version of Alex Toth's his Space Ghost, the drawing, the famous drawing that he made, with legs wide apart. Just a very heroic, simple pose. It's my version of it. A lot bigger, clearly, but still, I just love the way it looked. It was very elegant, and very simple, and very heroic. Trevor says, Return to Frogtown, where every woman is after his DNA. Is that right? There's a guy, he sent me this. I was like, what? And I believe, I'm not even sure if he read the comic. He just loved the sentiment. I think that's what it was. He loved the idea of Pigman. So I said, well, you're a lifer. I said, what do you want? I'll send you some stuff, He took me up on it. But how cool is that, guys? A lifelong Pigman fan forever. Wild. Blew me away. I was like, holy shit. It's a big deal. It was based on this drawing. A little weird looking Pigman, to be honest. It was an early one. On Propaganda, 184 people were murdered at the Pentagon. We tend to forget that, but Pigman, in addition to the symbol on his chest, he has the outline with the scar of the Pentagon. And yeah, it's a government building. Yeah, it's this. Yeah, whatever. There are human beings, Americans, patriots who did die that day. And we shouldn't accept that. Pigman's foreign policy. You F with us, you're fucked. I think I did a different version, black and white, which I think is in this folder. Capitalist pig, man. In green $. Capitalist pig, man. It's fun. I like the way it came out. The dirty stuff, the shadow. Pretty good. This was clearly a political poster against the scumbags. Obama. They were trying to push this horrific bill, and I had Pigman with Thor's hammer. He's worthy of wielding Thor's hammer and trying to kill the bill. It's a very different look for a Pigman there. It actually looks a little like Shanth Angetti did a similar Pigman, like the color, like that. Very, 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 very cool looking. This idea that I had, just I drew it up. The pig gun that he has, the pig gun. It was a grappling hook gun. He opted to basically crush the life out of jihadis with his bare hands and the pigskin leather gloves. That's what he did. He protected himself by having a bulletproof suit that was empowered, and each issue he gets stronger and stronger. It ends up flying and so on. But he had the gun basically for that, just in case he needed it as a backup. Just an interesting font design, I thought would be interesting. This is when Jack Bauer ended his mission to, to fight terrorism. Great job, Jack. I'll take it from here. Pretty funny. I thought that was pretty cool. Reminded me of the old, like Will Eisner, Daredevil, Frank Miller at moments. However dark Frank Miller got in Daredevil, some of those issues were really light, really fun. The paper chase with Power Man and Iron Fist, where Foggy eats their pizza and they get pissed off, and it was light and funny. It was like a comedy issue. And I remember Daredevil in that issue. I'm not sure if Elektra was in there at all. It was just like a really a pause on the drama and the ninja and all that. This is an early version of the Infidel featuring Pigman idea, font. Pigman coming out there. From the Infidel, from the Twin Towers comes Pigman. A doodle I liked that I didn't use. I just liked the way it came out. When he's trying to break through the door of Osama bin Laden and his boyfriend. This was a moment from the Infidel, and I just added a font there that I thought was interesting, effective, maybe for an ad, probably. That's a good face. Huge, you know. What do you call? I mean, it's a jaw, I know, but it's like when they pop out a little. There's a certain thing. Um, that's like a sketch, a pretty loose sketch. It's not bedtime. It's dead time. The guy's like, oh shit, he's gonna get me. A rough drawing on newsprint. A rough drawing on newsprint. Um, What's going on here? It's frozen. Okay. Okay. Give us liberty, give them death. That was for propaganda, drawing a line against jihad. This was my visual response to Muslims trying to build the Victory Mosque at Ground Zero. I told you about the, you know what? You know what? One second, guys. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna try to find something here that I should have found yesterday, but I just couldn't. Excuse me for that. I just wanted to see what I can do here. Sorry for all the typing noise. I know you guys get a little sensitive about that. I guess I do as well. I wonder where. Oh, okay, I got it. Amazing. I was able to find it actually. It's so old. Let me show you. 1 second, 1 second. I may have redone it. At some point, and I had a better version. Give me 1 minute, guys. It doesn't show up here. Interesting. Huh. Okay. I think I redid it at one point. I did a few different versions. Give me 1 second, guys. I just want to find it. I thought I had a lot of fun with it. Okay. So you guys remember when Greg Gutfeld proposed opening up a gay bar across the street from the Ground Zero mosque. He wanted to open a gay bar. And I was like, and he asked people for, titles and names for the gay bar and stuff. So I said, piggyback. I'll make two pigs on top of each other, doing their thing, wrapped around the Islamic crescent, the rainbow Islamic crescent with a pink star. And Greg Gutfeld there with the red eyes, because it's red eye, for, the show. He got a kick out of it. I also did another one. Let me see if I can find that now. Give me 1 second, guys. Give me 1 second. Piggyback was the name of the bar. I thought that was a fun name. Again, guys, I got maybe 45 minutes left, probably. I got to get to some stuff, and thanks for being here, guys. Always appreciate it. Okay, this is another one. I'll show you guys in 1 second. I had some fun with this, man. Oh, man. This was 15 years ago, 14 years ago. 14 years ago. That's what it was. Give me 1 second. I have two more images for that, and I will show you in 1 second. Let me get here. And let me get here. Okay, this was another one, another version for the piggyback, where these pigs are going at it. And then this one as well, this one. And you see the shaking behind. And they're happy, Two gay pigs in a gay bar across from the Ground Zero Mosque. Very, very fitting. I thought that was fun. Let me close this and then just continue from here. Thanks for indulging me, guys. I do appreciate it. It's gonna be a light night tonight, clearly. Oh yeah, I don't know how to pronounce the name, but the guy with the dog in what is it called? It's not hot in here. It's not burning here. He was, did you ever want to make an action figure of Pigman? Absolutely. And I was on my way towards making one years ago. I'm talking 15 years ago. And the guy who wanted to do it was hopped up on it. He was very excited. I was excited. He wanted to get on Fox News with me together, promote it. And then he gave me an example. And I said, or he told me, okay, what's the specifications? I said, well, he's a big guy, 6'5", 300 pounds, and he has a belly. And he goes, we're not going to make a belly. We want to make him like heroic. I said, well, he is heroic, but he is Pigman. So I want that belly. He goes, yeah, but we can't do it. We have the molds. And I said, I know, but it has to be a way. I mean, maybe something, we'll figure it out. And he wouldn't budge. And I wouldn't budge. And so that was that. I can see it happening one day, still, I got this. I showed you the little bigger version, but, this is if you put this, this kind of head on top of a body, it'd be perfect. It will work perfectly. This size action figure, absolutely perfect. Perfect size. But yeah, the guy, he thought it was the wrong move to make him with a belly. That's Pigman. It's not just that. It's not just because he lives up to the name. It's the fact that he's a little over the hill. He's not quite ready for prime time. Ready or not, though, he says, "Fuck it, I have to take on this enemy." The president sold us out, called it Islam's peace. He didn't go after the enemy the way he should have. The way we went after Japan. In other words. And so, let me continue this now. This was my drawing of Pigman. If they build it, he will come. And I remember I was called a terrorist for this drawing. You're a terrorist. What are you saying? I said, I'm saying Pigman's attitude is if they built it, he's going to knock it down. He's going to destroy it. He's not going to kill anyone there. He's going to make sure no one's there, but he's going to flatten it. It shouldn't exist there. It's a victory mosque. It's a pure victory mosque. It's another version, I think, of him trying to knock out that door where thanks, it does. And let me show you a larger version of that. You know, that was the first step I took at making this. And I remember when Everett July came out with when he came out with Young Isa. I said, all right. So I said, young, young, and younger Pigman, young Pigman, and younger Pigman. You know, so that's the way it would end up looking. I mean, you see it behind. You know, it's a similar design clearly, but you know, without all the blood. But that's about it. And his ears are wrapped over each other. If you notice, he has those two lines there. I was thinking, I think my design thing, I was thinking of Wolverine or something along those lines. I don't know if he has it on his mask, but he has it on something. I think Wolverine did have those, not on his mask, but on his, was it on the sides? I think on the sides of his suit. I believe that's what it was. Um, you can order, you can back Pigman #1 at From My Comic, and it's pinned at the top on on YouTube. It's pinned. You can you know what? If you're asking, I'll take this opportunity to a pitch. Give me 1 second, guys. Thanks for indulging me here. It's just a pretty impromptu um, stream. Give me 1 second. I want to pull this up here. It's on Fund My Comic, and I crossed over. It was 199 yesterday, and it hit 202. So I gotten through 3 backers in the last 12 hours or longer. And Ethan also just retweeted one of my ads today, which was kind to me. I always appreciate it, and it always makes a difference. I think I got 1 backer because of that alone, just him, reposting it, which is really cool. Um, Give me 1 second, guys. Let's see. So yeah, you can order it at Fund My Comic. The link is in the it's pinned at the top. I don't know exactly how it looks on YouTube, but it is pinned there. I got the link. So the Islamic background of twins comes to the forefront of their lives on 9/11, which is echoed by the comic book within Pigman vs. Superchild. I know some of you, I hear this every night. I'm going to pitch it every night, guys. This is part of my job now. I'm promoting my book. I'm going to try to do it every single day in some capacity, whenever I can. I think it's important to do that. I believe in my book. I want you to, I want you to know what I know about it. I want you to believe in it as well. And I think that's worth backing, and it'll be worth having at a certain point. Is 4 different covers. Here's the first one, second one, third, fourth. I have 9 pages of preview, and it'll be different by the time you guys get it. It'll be improved because I'm going through every page of issue 1 and 2 of the old one, putting them together in issue 1 now. It used to be called The Infidel Feature Pigman. Now it'll be called Pigman. And I'm going to expand it, have some more moments, more scenes, more panels, expanded pages, double page spread, and maybe even another one like a thinking in terms of Dark Knight Returns, like a splash page. I loved when Miller did that. I didn't quite do that. I always added a panel or two, so I got to figure that out. But I want to do something along those lines, and it's fun. So I got the 4 covers. I have you can buy all 4 at once. You can get a Pigman hard index card drawing. You can also get it digitally, a digital copy. You can get a Pigman T-shirt, the Pigman symbol, September 11th. September 11th. Pigman war paint print. I want it all pack. Submission impossible. trading card, my first book. Um, I was asked to add this to my campaign, and I did, and there's some interest there, so it's awesome. I also have these sketch covers. Basically, it'll be a blank cover that you guys will ask me if you guys will tell me if you want Pigman or Killian or Salam or Super Jihad, the main characters, or something else. I don't know. I mean, if you want to do something else, that's fine by me. I sell original art pages of Pigman, and also I do commissions. So you can order it here. I don't know how to say her name, but you can order it at Fund My Comic. Thank you. Thanks, guys, for indulging me again. I do appreciate it. I'm always, I, you know, I don't know. I've never been shy about promoting my work. I love selling it. Uh, and I remember going to the San Diego Comic Con, to MoCA, to SPX. Those are the main places I went to, and I loved pitching my book. Table for One, I used to call it, Dirty Harry as a waiter. That's what I called it, and people got that right away. Said, "Okay, I have an idea what you're talking about." It's not necessarily the case, but okay. The attitude, let's say, doesn't take shit. He gives back anything that comes his way, and so on. And he's willing to fight. Um, so let me go back to these drawings of Pigman over the years. Pigman saving the world from Islam. This is something I just like the way it looked. I was brushing it up and pulling one of the jihadists' beards, but maybe I didn't like the way the rest came out. I just cropped it here. I think it was a different font. I used a thick brush for that. I just liked the way it looked. I thought it was pretty cool. This was someone had made. You know what? Let me show you actually. This is someone had made this for me years ago. Years ago. Check it out. It was like a first attempt at some kind of like a Pigman a figure. And what he did was, check this out. He took one of my drawings, which was called "The War on Error." The War on Error, not the War on Terror. The War on Error. And it was like a target, right? And the bullseye is Islam. Above that is jihad, and then Sharia law, and then terror, which doesn't make sense. How can you wage war on terror? You have to bring it down to what kind, what this, that, what particular enemy, terror in general. So I made it look like a person who was shooting to the left because he's a leftist. He doesn't want to hit the bullseye, the truth. And one thing he did do was he knocked out the T of terror, where it ends up being the war on error. So I thought that was pretty damn cool. So this is something that a fan made, and this was my changing it a bit to make it fit more into my style here. That's what it was. So that's the same thing, but I made it more into my style. The eyes weren't as big, but I thought the guy did a hell of a job, man. Very, very cool. Yeah, Trevor, I love the brush. I love it. It's such a versatile tool. So yeah, this is my slightly redesign of the one that you just saw, and I made it darker, brown. But it's black. It's like a I don't know how it would work in real life. I mean, it's like a black with red highlights, like a crimson. I don't know exactly. I just like the way I draw it. It's like the Spider-Man, the black of his suit, but it's just red highlight instead of the blue. That's really what it is. I just like the way it looks. It's like Daredevil, but darker. And it's black all around with only red highlights. And again, it just works visually for me also. Aesthetically, I love the color rust, orange. I love that color. I love red, black, and white. The white of his eyes, the towers. Hello, leg kick one. This is having a little fun here. Igman pay, Eanes may, East pay. Can anyone think about what that means? I'll just wait. Should be obvious, but if it's not, cool. Just think about it. I thought it was a little fun way to do that, to play with something have to do with pigs. Just let me know, guys. I just want to hear you guys just spell it out. Should be pretty easy, I think. But then again, not sure. Igman pay, Eanes may, East pay, and what that is, and why it's that way. I guess it's a slow night tonight. Anyway, it's Pig Latin. It's just fun, Pig Latin. I made the most of this stuff. I just had a lot of fun designing it all. I really did. It keeps freezing here. I don't know what the hell is going on here. I don't know what it is. Another sketch card. I like his nostrils are flaring more than usual. They're a little thicker, a little bigger. The pig snout. I think he might good. The Pig Manhattan Project. This is Frank Warner. After seeing Super Jihad flying, he's like, if he can fly, if he can fly, because he had he got ahead of him a little. He's like, ah, shit. He's like, I think he might be smarter, but I'm still I'm going to figure this out. So he spends a lot of time in his pig cave and gets to work. Figures it out. Within a few months, he's hovering over the Kaaba. Another sketch card. I forgot what this was for, but it was fun. Let me close this a little. Okay. Trevor says, I was mistaken. The Roddy Piper movie is called Hell Comes to Frogtown. Okay, cool. Is it worth it, Trevor? Another Pigman index card. I like the way this came out. I believe if you look at, you know what? I believe it is. Yeah. Let me just double check. I believe it is what I used for the Mission Impossible. Yeah. See? That's the one right there. I just added the color and the blood. I just like the way this one came out in particular. Can't say exactly why as opposed to the other ones, but I like it. Pig sigh. That's right. Also, I haven't had Pigman say it, but I say it like the sow D's, the sow D's. The female pig. So yeah, that's what I use for that card. I just like the way it looked. Sty, pig sty. That's right, pig sty. It's funny. Let me keep going here. Submission, eat me. Have some fun with that. A very simple Pigman drawing. This is when he turns around and sees Osama bin Laden. He's like, you. And Saudis, exactly. Saudis, maybe. It was him. And you know what? When I drew this, I think I was conscious of it. I wanted to give that look like John Byrne, Wolverine, something, some detail. a little different look, bestial, something strong. And I think I did it in a pretty good way because it looks like around here, it looks like a Terry Austin inks. This is all brush, but it looked like that at least. I say, you know what? I want to get this really going well and strong. It's a first real big clear look you get of Pigman in in the issue. It's the first one. When he turns around, yeah, definitely. Trevor says feral looking. It definitely does. He's ready to just kill him right there on the spot, but he faints on him. Something loud, and he faints, and Pigman snorts at that. Just a pretty cool visual. I thought of wrapped around with his name there, rutting out evil. Is that does that mean something outside of just the? Let me know, Trevor. Yeah, again, guys, I'm just going through pigment art over the years in the last 21, 2 years, longer, some of the stuff. Outreach to the Islamic world, he's doing outreach pigment style. Outreach pigment style. They come to kill us and we'll die for it. That line, I actually tweeted it out in 2015, the day that we almost died at that event. And whoa. Mikey Goats, is that how you pronounce it, Mikey? He says, Pigman might turn out to be my favorite hero. I lost my cousin in 9/11. You lost him in the towers on the plane? Let me know, man. Wow. I um I was working in a restaurant, and we knew these customers. Every Saturday they came with their wives, the husbands, two guys and their wives, very happy couples, working in the city, coming to the restaurant, and a number of customers died in the towers. I remember seeing that the wife. I remember seeing her a year or two later making out with a guy at one of the booths in the restaurant I worked at. I remember seeing that, and then I felt sad for her. She was lost. I think she was drunk. No decorum really in front of everyone, making out with a guy, and people were reluctant even to tell her to stop or to tell him to stop because considering everything. But one thing I do remember also after 9/11, Mikey, if you want to elaborate on that, if you want to, that's up to you. Is there was always a loud restaurant, a lot of customers, busy place, good place. I made some good money there, but the point is that it was always a lot of people, parties, right? After 9/11, I can't say how many deuces there were, meaning couples. Everything was brought down to the essentials, to the people that everyone truly loved and was with. There was a lot of couples going out. No, not really groups for a while. The group thing was gone for a bit. It was mainly couples, mainly the people you love most, couples, and then some families, children, and that's about it. Parties, no, no parties. Um, Eventually did, but okay. Mikey gets. Oh my God, is that the case? Mikey gets says that his cousin jumped off the World Trade Center. Now that was the most. I don't know. That stayed with me more than anything else. It's human bodies. I mean, we can imagine what happened in the planes and towers and all that, but we don't have to imagine what happened with these people when they're jumping from towers. And again, burn to death or jump. My God. I'm sorry, Mike. I mean, that's tough. But that's, that horror took me in my imagination, took me to this power fantasy of saying, okay, I think Bush fucked us by saying Islam is peace. I think he's not going to take him out the way we ought to. I don't think he's going to do that. I think he's a pussy. I think he's a born again Christian who wants to love thy enemy and turn the other cheek and all that. I think he's not the guy we should have had. He's not the guy. I wish we had someone who was strong and ruthless, morally ruthless, and willing to call them evil. We didn't have that. So I think part of that also is why I said, okay, I want to make this big beast of a man, ex-Muslim, knows their language literally, can speak it, and he fights what Super Jihad, I believe, calls an inverted jihad against jihad, and he's right about that. He tries to seduce him at one point, Super Jihad, and I think I have the quote here. Richard Luciano, and he goes, in Carney, it's pigmazen, Measons pieces, but I'm in no Roddy Piper pro wrestler speak Carney like Pig Latin used to keep kayfabe. Richard Luciano, love Italian, love the names. Luciano. He goes, what do you? I think I meant right. What do you think would have been done if VP Gore won the election? I think the same shit. I do. I think the same shit. I do. He would have had to have done something, which is what Bush did as well. Bush had to do something. Many people wouldn't sit here. We just wouldn't sit. So, they bombed the mountains range and they let Al Qaeda get away with Osama bin Laden get away. They bombed mountains. I remember that. And they were talking about leave nothing off the table. Rumsfeld was talking about nukes at one point. And I was like, fuck yeah. Whatever it takes. You have to end jihad, not just end Al Qaeda. I'm talking about jihad across the board. Hezbollah, Hamas, all these 140 terrorist groups, 140 Islamic terrorist groups. You take out the main ones, you take out some cities, you take out, Mecca. You take out Mecca, and I mean that. Take out their holiest of holiest places, quote unquote holiest, and they will submit. Because they'll be in deadly fear of more than just Allah, of us. So I think he would have done more or less the same shit, Richard. I believe that. I think these are the Uniparty. I think would have been the same shit. He would have had to have done something. Americans wouldn't have taken it. Otherwise, we wouldn't have. And it would have went the same way as Bush. We're making it seem like we're fighting, but not exactly. Talking tough, but not backing it up. Bombing mountains, but not bombing the scum. Letting Osama bin Laden get away, and so on and so on and so on. Bush had 7 years to exact vengeance. He let them live. He let them go undefeated. It had to be the piece of shit Obama who ended up on his watch getting Osama bin Laden taken out. And, considering everything that we've gone through, where's the photos, where's the video, where's the pictures, where's the proof, where's this, that? I'd like to know. I don't trust the government at all. So I think the same shit, Richard. I do. I think it's more or less the same thing. This is my drawing. I think you can see it. Last sight. The terrorist, his eyeball, wide-eyed, and Pigman's coming. Crush the life out of him. That's the last thing this guy will ever see. Last sight. That's from my book, Propaganda. It's a pretty brutal-looking Pigman, but stay quiet and you'll be okay. Muhammad Atta told that to the victims of 9/11. Stay quiet and you'll be okay. Muhammad Atta, 9/11/01. When he was in the cockpit, he told the passengers, stay quiet and you'll be okay. So I said, we've stayed quiet. We're not okay. All quiet on the Western Front. And I said, it's time to make the enemy scream. It's time to make the enemy scream. Mikey Getz said, thanks, Bosh. You're a CG king for a reason and have the biggest balls in CG. It's very kind. It's a great compliment. and I take it as such. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate it, and I'm sorry to hear that. It must be tough. It must be tough to live with that. Um, you know, and you imagine the horror of that act, also the horror of it, and the necessity of it as well, because you know, burn alive, or what are you going to do? The human body will do what's, even if it's inevitable. You want to choose at least to die in a better way, and you know, I remember seeing 5 or 6 people holding hands and doing it together, going to their fate that way. Forced. Americans were forced to do that, the unthinkable. And then we have Bush saying Islam is peace. Piece of shit. I still get enraged by that fucker. Let me show you something here, guys. I'm going to show you this one cartoon I did with that rat fuck Bush. Let me find it. Okay. Here's a piece of shit. George Wussy Bush. Here's what the piece of shit said within the 7 years. I collected all of his bullshit about Islam, where he says, I don't know when they were, but I know that they were across the 7 years that he was president. Well, ours is a war not against a religion, not against the Muslim faith. Lying rat. He also said, Islam is peace. Americans got to realize that. So he goes, ours is a war not against a religion, not against the Muslim faith. Yes, it is, fucker. That motivates the jihad, Islam as such, not any alleged deviant form of it, Islam as such. The terrorists are traitors to their own faith. No, they're not. They live up to it. You're a traitor to America for not goddamn cracking open the Quran that you brought into the White House like a savage. He brought a Quran into the White House, into the library, I think into the Oval Office. And the dummy didn't even crack it open to say, oh shit, yeah. I think they do get motivation from this. The face of terror is not the true face of Islam. That's not what Islam is all about. Islam is peace. Piece of shit. Our enemy doesn't follow the great traditions of Islam. What are those great traditions, fucker? We do not fight Islam. We fight against evil. He goes, whatever it's called, this ideology is very different from the religion of Islam. Ugh. A piece of shit. Another image here, PIGMAN project. You know what that means, right, guys? It's just my way of bringing in the Manhattan Project with the nukes, and this is what passes for that. The ruthlessness of PIGMAN. This is something I did a while back. I don't remember what I did it for, but I like the way it came out. It's basically PIGMAN going into the birthplace of Islam and cracking skulls. It's like Indiana Jones, PIGMAN in the kingdom to crack skulls instead of the crystal skull. Indiana Jones and the crystal skull. And the Saudis they're going to pay for funding jihad. They're scared shit that the beast is here, as they call him. Just crushed the guy's life out of him and threw him like garbage. Fuck out of here. Taking a war into his own hands. And that's, that was my attitude after I heard Bush pull that shit. Trevor says, how many years of peace has Islam had historically? 1,500 years of conflict. Yeah, I mean, jihad began, 1,400 years ago. And, it's cowardice that brings it back to life in a lot of ways. It is pure cowardice. Like Jimmy Carter unleashed the modern jihad. It was Jimmy Carter who did that. His weakness. He unleashed the modern jihad. When the most powerful man in the world, which is supposed to be the U.S. president, is a pussy in the face of aggression from an enemy, they're like, huh. And Osama bin Laden looked at that and said, huh, I think we can take them. I think we can get away with mass murdering Americans. And he's right. Because no matter what anyone tells me, the victims of 9/11 have not been avenged yet. They have not. They have not been avenged. Um, so in my fictional universe, since I don't deal with the, I'm just a cartoonist. In my fictional universe, they pay a heavy price for this. He wipes out Al Qaeda. He wipes out terrorist groups whole cloth to the point where they don't reconstitute themselves. They're like, okay, we're done. And then, of course, Super Jihad comes. Then it's a different game. But when it comes to the terrorists, and I think someone maybe tried to tell me like once, like, well, that's unfair. He's a superpower. I said, unfair? He crushes the fuckers. He crushes the life out of these fuckers, and he knows it's a good thing. What's the unfair bit? You want to give him a tough time? And again, there's a hatred for a pigman that Muslims and leftists feel that they don't feel for jihadists. Even alleged passive Muslims, they hate pigman with a passion. And not only don't they hate the jihadists, some Muslims heroize them, and the left has nothing to say about it. And it's funny to me when it's like they haven't thought of that. I tell them, oh, so you're pro jihad, okay? They get pissed like, oh shit, because that is what they are. They are pro jihad. If they're against even a fictional superhero taking out jihad, and they're enraged about it, they're pro jihad by being so for this. Richard Luciano says, with CG speaking out against Islam now more than ever, it's unfortunate creators like David Wood, Robert Spencer, and Apostate Prophet don't invite you on their streams. What are your thoughts? I'm a friend. I'm friends with Robert. Robert's a good friend of mine for many years. I don't know. I mean, maybe I had him on the show I was doing a few years ago twice. He was more than happy to do it. I'll ask him. I would love to just bounce back and forth with him about these things, about the culture war aspect of it. I know that David and Apostate Prophet know about me. Someone bought David and Apostate Prophet, Riyadh, I think his name. They bought them copies of my Peaceful Death Threats with all my death threats collected, where I drew Apostate Prophet as Muhammad and David Wood as Muhammad. And Apostate Prophet posted it recently. And I messaged him the other day. I said, hey, I got my comic, and I'll, maybe if you could post about it or something. I don't know. I haven't heard back. So there's nothing much to say about that. I don't know. Some people don't want to get involved on that issue, on that. I don't know. Again, some people think it's silly. It's like, Pigman, come on, get serious. Hey, man, I got to mock the enemy as I destroy them. And what better way to do that as a big, bloated superhero who's ex-Muslim, who's ruthless, who knows their language, and who crushes them to death and roasts them as he does it. I love it. I fucking love it. And I love the fact also of having his creator in the comic book, my stand-in. And I'll admit that, yeah, it's a self-insert. Sure, that's fine. I mean, I know it's supposed to be a bad thing now, but I don't give a shit. I like the fact that, Killian and me share a lot in common. And we're going to share more to the point where he's going to enter a Muhammad cartoon contest as well. He's going to win it, and it'll be terror and so on. His life will be flipped over. Hey, Hamilton. Absolutely. Appreciate it. Thanks for saying hi. So, Richard, I don't know. I'd love to get on bigger, networks and channels. For all the shit that Laura Loomer gets, she had me on the anniversary of the massacre of Charlie Hebdo. Kudos to her. Let me go on there, and I just, went off on free speech and Islam and jihad and Muhammad cartoons and so on and so on. I mean, she gets a lot of shit, believe me. And she called every name in the book. She had me on. And I'd love to be on with Robert and David and Apostate Prophet. I would love to. I want, and I want to contact my old media, contacts, see if they'll have me on. I don't know, but I want this to blow up. I want it to expand. I want to get bigger. I think it deserves a wider audience. And that might sound self-serving, but For me, it's a cultural aspect, meaning if a comic book against jihad becomes popular, that's better for our culture at large. And of course, me personally, but it's better for our culture at large. Mikey Getz says, he's a self-insert for you, so did you fight your brother after 9/11? No. And what this is I mentioned it before, but I'll mention it again. It's like as if I split myself in two after 9/11. And what if I went full throttle Islam? What if I submitted to it hardcore? That's one of the brothers. And then what if, as I did, left Islam and becomes a full-time critic of it? So that's what it is, really. I have family, but I don't talk about. No one knows anything about me personally. I don't talk about it. Sometimes I mention certain things. You guys can put two together, whatever. But overall, you guys don't know details, and that's just the way it is. I always got to cap myself, and I don't like it because there are aspects about my life that I would love to share sometimes. I just can't. But yeah, so it's as if I split myself in two, and that's why it's twins, right? It's me basically just split in two, become a jihadist and become a recovered Muslim and go at it. And then of course the super version of that, the super echo of that with Pigman and the super jihad, and that's what we're dealing with here. This was a more fit Pigman, and there's a reason why. You guys will see it after. This is in my propaganda book, Propaganda. Washington, PC. You keep fighting terror, I'll fight jihad. With this cigar. It's fun. Pigman Akbar. No, Mikey. I know. I just I gotta watch myself. That's all. And I still think sometimes maybe I share too much. I don't think I have. I'm still here, guys. 20 years drawing Muhammad. I'm still here. Over 20 years of being a cartoonist and creating Pigman, and I'm still here. So far, so good. But I don't, it could. The worst can happen, but I'll take my precautions. This is the last post I posted in 2018. It must have been 2018 on the old Twitter. And this is the last post in my old Twitter account before I got banned. It was a crew of rats, but one in particular who got me banned and celebrated it because I was critical of Marvel's Islamic superhero, Miss Marvel, who they're shoehorning now into the Dark Phoenix saga somehow. She's carrying Jean Grey instead of Cyclops. What? I don't know. So it was fitting, I guess, that the free speech, right? I have sworn upon the altar of God eternal hostility against every form of tyranny over the mind of man. Thomas Jefferson. Free speech, First Amendment to the United States Constitution. Congress shall make no law respecting and one second, guys. I gotta stop in 20-minute alarm. 20 minutes. I think I can go.
20 minutes, counting down.
Congress shall make no law respecting establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. Yeah. We're the only country that has that. Whenever someone wants to tell you, okay, this was the first ad 20 years ago at the San Diego Comic-Con, he made his debut, and it's not, I'm a little embarrassed, a pink mask, pink gloves, and he doesn't have the guts and the small flag, doesn't have the pigskin leather. So funny. It was a eureka moment when I did it. So on one side, the words were, when will comics take on jihad? And then you flip it, and it's when Pigman flies. Look at the ears, look at the nostrils. It's ridiculous. Also, jihad it. It's funny. He has jihad it. That's awesome, Trevor. Trevor remembers it. And I remember it was San Diego Comic-Con 2005. I had a booth. I was selling Table for One. And I had this, and right in the middle of that convention, the San Diego Comic Con 2005, the July 5th, 2005 attack on the bus in the UK happened. I think 50 people, I think, not just in the bus, the surrounding area as well, were slaughtered by savage Muslims in the name of Islam. And I think people, they seemed okay with the fact that I had this upcoming, comic book in mind. Some got a kick out of the idea. When will comics take on jihad? When Pigman flies. When pigs fly. He's hovering over a mosque there. Forcing the enemy to do the last thing they want to do. That's war. That's war in the end. Forcing an enemy to do the last thing they want to do. What's the last thing they want to do? To surrender to you. To submit to the victor. That's it. That's what you want to do. Hamilton says there's nothing inherently wrong with a self-insert. It is when the self-insert turns a comic into self-indulgent wish fulfillment that is a problem. Hell, some comics are literally biographical. Yeah, I appreciate making that clear, because some people, no matter what, self-insert, look at this shit. And again, self-insert to an extent. I mean, Killian's better looking. Even Salam and so on. It's stylized version of me. But the main reason why I did it is not just to be self-indulgent, is to show that this is ideology, religion, not race, ideology, religion. That's the real point of it all. Trevor says, that was when I bought Table for One after Batten introduced us. Man, 2005. We're talking 20 years, Trevor. It's hard to believe. It's hard to believe, man. I can't believe it. A lot has happened. A lot has happened. It was only 10 years after that I won the Muhammad cartoon contest. 10 years after that. And it'll be 10 years this May. Man. Mikey Getz says, that's a great piece. Reminds me of Frank Miller. People have been saying that for the last few weeks or two. And I'm like, awesome. I'm not conscious of it. I'm clearly influenced by Miller, Toth, Romita Jr., Simonson, Kirby, Ditko, and all that. But mainly, in terms of writing, Miller, clearly. And again, I'm not trying to draw light like Toth. I just know that the principles that he pushed, that he talked about, he's right. I mean, getting it, how does he put it? Make it so simple you can't cheat. It's a great principle. It's a great idea. I love it. And then draw the hell out of what's left. Meaning, don't skimp, but don't over busy it. Don't do that. Be impactful. Be impactful. I like the way this came out. I actually did a redo of that. Here. The other day. A more polished version. With a scruff. With a lot of scruff. And, the action lines, which I love doing. It's an old school thing, I guess, but check it out also, guys. I used a marker for this, and I was very surprised at the way it came out. Check it out, guys. Because look, it's this big, fat marker, one of my favorite. It's a Sharpie, Magnum, right? Magnum Sharpie. It's huge. I mean, look at this. I mean, it's huge. It smells great. I love that smell. And it had this brush type effect. I mean, look at that. It came out rough as hell with a nice texture. I love the way it came out. I think that looks better than it would have if I had the brush. Whatever reason, I just love the way it came out. I didn't expect it to come out. I started to do it. I said, whoa, okay, it's working. And it has a sharp edge as well, which I did not think with this. This is what I do sometimes with letters. I try to create some fonts with this. This has lasted a long time, guys. The Magnum Sharpie has lasted a long time. It's fucking awesome. So yeah. I do sell these original art as well. Um, Ethan was supposed to have the auction, and it never happened, the recent one. But we will see. We shall see. Ha! It's hilarious. Trevor says, Bosh, look at the size of my Sharpie. It's hilarious. Yeah, I mean, you know what? I can see that too. Because look, man, sometimes it is the rougher one. It is the pen. Sometimes I do a pencil version of Pigman, right? With some, and it when I put the ink, I got to put the ink in, right? And it's like it lost some of the energy, lost some of the oomph. You know, it is what it is, man. It's something that you got to live with. You just want to get it printed right. The pencil at this stage, I guess they can do certain things, but I don't know. I just love, inking it. It does lose some of that oomph, though. It does. Uh, Trevor quotes George S. Patton. He goes, "No one ever wins a war by dying for his country. You win a war by making the other dumb bastard die for his country." I love it. I love that. I love it. We need guys like that. We need dogs like that who are in the hunt. Um, Richard Luciano. Sorry, I gotta say it. Luciano. I love it. Two brothers taking divergent paths probably feels relatable to a lot of families. Christopher Hitchens and Peter Hitchens were atheists largely due to suffering seen around the world. Then Peter Hitchens became more or less a Christian apologist, while Christopher Hitchens was with the Four Horsemen of Atheism. Yeah. Christopher Hitchens was also a drunkard and a confused guy. Um, he was all over the place. He was critical of the Clintons because their corruption, and then he voted for Obama. And then he was for the war. And then I don't know. Smart guy, no doubt about it. Interesting stuff to say about religion, about Islam. But then he got stupid and said, Bin Ladenism. No, 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 no. It's not down to one man, one figure. It's Islam. It's Islam. It's not one guy's ideology. It's Islam. Don't be stupid. I hated when he pulled that. And then also there's a quote attributed to him about. Let me find it, guys. It's worth sharing with you guys. Definitely is. I got to do this because there are certain things I want to keep a lid on in terms of you know private stuff that might pop up here and there. Um, let's see. Okay, here we go. There was a quote, a great, great quote that was attributed to Chris Richards, which was not his. It was not his. And people got pissed at me for saying it wasn't his. I said, that's the reality. That's the truth. Give the guy his due. Andrew Cummins, who I think has been banned off of X, or sorry, off of Twitter years ago. And I don't think he's back. Islamophobia, a word created by fascists and used by cowards to manipulate morons. It's awesome. It's great. And it's true. And it's true. And everyone attributes that to Chris Richards. It's not. It's not him. It's not. Another index card. I'm going to refresh. I want you guys to consider getting Pigman, backing it, getting a single comic or whatever else you want. I have a number of things here also. I really want you to consider getting it because it's something. Again, it's unlike anything out there. It just is. It's a fact. I'm going to talk it up that way because it's true, and I am proud of it. And I love my comic. I love my story. I love my characters. Okay, this was something fun I did. Bring it here. Okay. Clark Kent's Halloween costume, right? And Bruce Wayne's Halloween costume. And you could tell the difference because he has a cleft in his chin and he doesn't, right? So he's a little more rock solid version of Pigman, more like a square jaw because Pigman has that rounded jaw. It's a big lantern jaw, but it is rounded. That was just a fun little thing I did. jihadist getting his head cracked to the point where it's a death blow, death blow, as the Yaira video. And if you see that, it's like a lightning bolt right there, and a big fat pig fist cracking the guy's head. That's a death blow. He just killed him. Um, Alexander says he got better later in life about Hitchens. Far from perfect, but no apologies for Islam. Yeah, he said that stupid thing about Bin Ladenism, which was one of the worst terms, one of the worst, because again, it brings down the entire history ideology to one man as if it's his. If we kill him, then it's dead. It's over. Stupid. And I gotta say, I attribute that to maybe the drink. He was hitting the sauce too, maybe a little too hard that night, where it's a far bigger, historical problem and also an ideological problem, a religious problem. It's not one man's ideas. Um, Mikey Getz says, I don't buy that fake pic of dead Bin Laden either. I guess they did release something because I don't remember seeing that. I don't remember seeing that. I don't trust the government. I just don't. It's not because I'm some cynic or anything, but look what they've done. Look what they've said. Look what there's still something here also for me. The country's not been the same since 9/11 because we never ended the Islamic threat. The country has not been the same since COVID because we have not dealt a real hard hit back against China. They have to pay. Our enemies have to pay a world historical price. They have to, for us to move on. They have to. We can't keep this as part of our existence. Like, well, there's the Islamic enemy is still out there. They're undefeated. Those behind COVID are, they haven't paid any price for it. It's unacceptable. Unacceptable. They have to pay. Both of them, both those enemies, the communist enemy and the Islamic enemy, they have to pay. Pigman on Muslim bigotry, eat me. If you don't know, again, some of you do, and I'm sorry. I will always repeat myself for things like this. I just think it's worth it. The meaning behind Pigman's chess symbol. The two white rectangles represent the Twin Towers, right? With the red S making it read September 11th. September 11th. Also, the part of the S that goes off to the left side makes out a 9. 9. And it's also 9/11 as well. And since he's a capitalist pigman, the design makes out a $sign. And further, the two small dents on the right tower are meant to make a number 3, making it 93, which is an homage to the heroes of Flight 93, but can also, unintended on my part, reference the first jihad attack on the Twin Towers in 1993, which actually Ethan Van Sciver has in his what the hell, Heather. I know her name. What the hell? I should know it. It's when she's young, the female heroine in Heather Swain. His young Heather Swain comic in 1993. And I remember I was on a stream with Ethan, and the explosion was at the bottom of the towers, and Shane said, "That's not how it happened." And I remembered the 93 attack. I said, "Well, that's the first attack on the towers." And if you guys recall, I don't know if you do. You know what? I'm gonna get it also now. I keep getting these memories, guys. I gotta do this, and I have to get off my thing and just see what I can do here, because 1 second, guys. I have to find this. It's worth it. I might have to get somewhere else. I gotta go to X for 1 second. It's worth looking at it because Dave Mazzucchelli drew something in response to the first attack on the Twin Towers, and it was awesome. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm on X as I'm on X. So funny. Oof. Unbelievable. Anyway, some idiots out there. One second, guys. What can I do here? What can I do? I can pull up this thing here. One second, guys. What would it be? What am I looking? David Mazzucchelli. One second, guys. I think I might be able to find it and then just send it to myself. No, I can't find it. I will do it here. Give me 1 second, guys. Boom. Got it. Awesome. 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 Got it. Give me 1 second, guys. So the first attack on the Twin Towers was in 1993. The Savages tried to. Their dream, their sick, twisted, vicious little dream was to bring down the towers side to side and kill over 100,000 Americans, 100,000 human beings, over. And so this is what Mazzucchelli drew. I mean, first of all, it's an awesome drawing, and it also tells, you know, like, holy shit, what's he gonna do? What's he gonna do? Boom. That was their dream, to bring down the towers. And you see his signature there, D Maz. I guess so. Yeah, D Maz, and then Kelly right there. I guess it's he put D Mazzucchelli. It's great, very, very effective. Love it, love it. Okay, let me go back here. Let me refresh if anyone backed it. Not yet. Would love it if you guys do. I'm gonna read some more comments, guys. Here, this is another form of that. That's instead of a pig, instead of a cowboy, he's a pig boy. And I made it look like pig ears as well. The hat. Trevor says, "What is the deal with Islam and animals? They fear pigs. They're terrified of dogs, but have unholy relations with goats." Yep. I mean, it's true. They ban goats. It's pretty sick. It's pretty sick. They ban goats. Trevor says, their weird views on homosexuality. They keep pretty boys and whore them out. Yes, they do. They toss them from buildings in fits of religion. Yep. They have this thing called, at least in Afghanistan, the ashnas. It's the young boys that they have on the side. And, it's a tradition. And they're anti-gay, but they practice it. But then they say that, yeah, but if I'm pitching, I'm not really gay. It's the guy who's catching who's gay. Yeah, sure. Right. Trevor says, I know I'm looking for the rational amongst the pillars of the logical. I know. It's, all right, guys. I'm going to finish this up, actually, and then just get going. How many more do I have here? Okay. I'm going to run through them, actually. I don't like to cut off these things halfway. So I'm going to run through this. I believe I drew this after some soldiers were slaughtered by the savages. One of the attacks on our soldiers. That's what it was for. Self-explanatory, pigskin leather, crack and jihad, PIGMAN sketch cards, a number of them that I did not that long ago. Actually, 11 years ago. That is long ago. Wow. 2014. Damn. Never submit. I was thinking Al Williamson inks over John Ray Jr. for the background. and the clouds. I think that's what I was thinking. I love that look. Yeah, Trevor says, yeah, the Ashnas are all painted up too. They pimp them out. I remember reading a story, Trevor, and anyone else who's listening. I think there was an American soldier who had to suffer listening to the savage fucks raping a boy and not being able to do anything about it. And if I remember correctly, I think he quit. I think he said, I'm done. I can't do this. I'm a human being. How the fuck can I stand here and take this? If I remember correctly, and I think he got discharged and punished because I think he had spoken about it publicly, maybe to some journalist. Um, that's a good, decent man. That's what he is. That's not his duty to suffer the indignity of seeing this disgusting thing and not being able to stop the fucker. You know, it's like if you guys read that comic with Wolverine that John Buscema drew, where he was hunting down the pedophile, and he had to get through the government, the U.S. government, to do it. He had to go through hell to get to this guy to put him down like a mad dog he is, and he had to go through Nick Fury, and he was furious about it. And it was a brutal fight. And Nick Fury more or less said at the end, like, all right, I had to do it, as in, go get him now, type thing. Unacceptable. Unacceptable. We should never, ever, ever have to put our soldiers through that horror. I remember after 9/11, people said, we need to have dialogue. I said, okay, let's do dialogue Pigman style, where only they talk, where they scream, actually, Allah, no. That's kind of dialogue I want from jihadists. Die a log. This is an ad for my current campaign. An old image. Huh. This is when it was on Comixology. I love Pigman. And the guy can see his words. You see, everyone's like, what? It's famous last words, clearly. Flight 93. Let's roll. What was his name, man? What was his name? I have to look it up. I feel ashamed that I don't know it, to be honest, but let's roll. Flight 93. And again, Todd Beamer. And Todd Beamer was the hero who said that and then went into the cockpit, brought the plane down before it went to Congress. But a part of me is like, you know what? Non-politicians were killed that day. Let's say if a few hundred politicians were killed that day, you think the enemy would exist today? You think the Islamic enemy would be wiped out? I think they would have been wiped out. I'm not saying they shouldn't have done that, but that's where it was heading in the Capitol building. That's the word, at least, that they were heading towards the Capitol building. They want to take out as many of our leaders as they could. Unbelievable. So yeah, they even question this now, whether it's true. Got a lot of bashes out there, really. Even today, some piece of shit with some mustache. He was on Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan stupidly had him on. He's promoting a piece of shit. He's like, 9/11 was done by the Jews, that kind of bullshit. And Joe Rogan probably listened, interesting, yeah. This was my cartoon to Iran, because Iran's been trying to get nukes for years. So it goes, go nuke yourselves instead of go fuck yourselves. Go nuke yourselves. This was an ad for the Infidel 3. I didn't hear you, punk. I love the Infidel 3, especially when my fellow rats get it. And you got the mascara running, When Islam happens, Pigman is there. Another ad for Comixology. Another ad. Yeah, this was a quote. This is a quote from Super Jihad to Pigman. At one point, he goes, life ends, but death lasts forever, but only if you're a believer. He's telling Frank, he's trying to bring him back into the fold. Say, come on, Frank. You know what I'm saying is true, okay? You're a righteous man. You belong on the side of righteousness. Come back. And he tells me, he goes, you know, about like life is fleeting, but death lasts forever. But only if you're a believer, a true believer. This is just a sketch of a pig man. Churchill and Reagan on pigs. Reagan, I am proud to be called a pig. It stands for pride, integrity, and guts. Churchill says, I like pigs. Dogs look up to us, cats look down on us, pigs treat us as equals. It's just funny to have these quotes by these great men and using it for Pigman. This was Vince Vaughn as Pigman. You know, I just thought of him. He's a big guy. He's tall. If he gets, you know, bulked up, who knows? He's on the right politically. Pretty light, you know, funny guy. But this was a drawing I did of Muhammad and Pigman. Jihad's over, bitch. You scared shit. Look at his hands compared to Pigman's. It's Muhammad taking a knee, taking Pigman's knee. Pigskin leather meets jihad to exploit the Islamic enemy's bigotry. Okay, this is Pigman talking. He goes, Fawson doesn't know I'm doing this, but if you like his ideas, his posts, his cartoons, then you'll love his comic book, The Infidel, starring me, Pigman. So, you got to listen to Pigman, man. He's onto something there. This is a moment from the Infidel 3, which will be the Infidel, sorry, which will be Pigman 2. After I remaster it, add stuff and pages and stuff. 1 second, guys. Alexander Scott says, I like that cartoon of Islamic heaven with the effeminate manservants. Hilariously homoerotic for such a homophobic religion. Yeah. I drew that. I drew the boys as beautiful as pearls in that paradise drawing I did for that Quran, the Danish Quran. Trevor says, we had to keep breaking up the prostitution rings, yet they treated us like we were the infidels. My God. Yeah, it must be infuriating, man. They're savages. The culture is savage. It's a hellhole. We can't bring democracy there. You bring democracy, they will vote for terrorism. They'll vote for jihadists. They'll vote for the Taliban. Democracy. Majority rules. They're not going to vote for freedom. We should have forced a constitution on them. You defeat a country, you force a constitution on them to make sure you protect yourselves from them. That's what you do. You force it on them. They're the losers. You have to dictate the terms. Say, okay, you can't do this. Child marriages, fuck out. Boom, boom, boom. We're gonna force you to join the modern world. Force you. And if you don't abide, you're gonna pay a price for it. Flutterbat says they'd blame a fucking meteor hitting Earth on the Jewish people. Yeah, anything and everything. Trevor says, gotta lighten the mood a bit after bringing the clouds in. The clouds in, sorry, Trevor. Mikey says pigs are actually really smart too. They are, Mikey. I learned that because I was studying pigs. I mean, he's not bitten by a radioactive pig, but I said, okay, let me find out some about pigs. They're like second to dolphins in terms of intelligence, and they're tasty as hell. On top of that, Trevor says that guy who plays Jack Reacher, he's big enough. He could chubby up for a bit. He'd be great, and he's such an asshole though. He is always trying to tell us, I'm not what you think I am. Okay, I don't like Trump. I'm like, shut the fuck up, bitch. We don't need to hear this. Play the goddamn role. We don't. Who gives a shit what you think about politics? I don't. No one else does. But he feels like it's my mission. It's like you're just a dumb actor. That's what you are. You're good as Reacher. Shut up because I want to watch it. It's been on now, guys. I haven't seen it. I remember all the shit he was saying. I'm like, I can skip it. I might watch it. I might not. I don't know. I'll see. I liked the first season. I liked the second one. I don't know. I'm a little bugged by his bullshit. Florida Bass says it's like leftists here in America. They refuse to vote for freedom. They'd rather have racism, hate, and chaos. Yeah. Well, because that's what they are. They're all about racism and hatred and chaos. So this is a moment. Pigman in Afghanistan from the Infidel featuring Pigman number 3 by Bosch Fawson. At this point, merely hearing that Pigman is coming for them, jihadists begin killing themselves before he gets his pigskin leather-clad gloves on them. You know, blam, schluck, blam. The guy says, stop, stop, stop. Suicide is forbidden. It's forbidden. And they're like, huh? Huh? And he goes, he's here. Let's do this right. So they get in a circle jerk. And like, okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, blah, 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 you know, because they're not killing themselves, technically, right? And Pigman says, you're killing me, guys. Well, actually, you know, you're killing yourselves. And he goes, hey, genius, you can't blow your brains out if you don't have any. He's like, I'm an American. And then Pigman leans down and he goes, quote unquote, American. He goes, no, you murder Americans. He goes, and that's why you're dead. Crush. Yeah. I enjoyed these type of things. Another ad that I had for, and by the way, it doesn't look like I can make any more ads right now. I'm not getting a promote option here. I'm not, have they punished me? I don't know, guys, but I'm not getting a promote option on my posts now. I was getting them before. I'm not getting it now. The hell, guys. Just because some punks, they bitched about it. Big shit. I just posted this ad. Big Jim Shooter about the Infidel said, well done, provocative, not politically correct. You've got skills. Awesome. I asked him if I could use it. He said, sure. Daniel Greenfield said, the Infidels close to parallels Frank Miller's Dark Knight, the only truly relevant post 9/11 comic. Chuck Dixon said, powerful story and well told. You wade fearlessly into some very dangerous waters here, stylish, raw, and visceral, and told with a lot of heart. Hey, I guess Ripperverse fans who love Chuck, what's up? You love Chuck, right? James Heldnell, who died a while ago. Very strong storytelling and graphic design skills. It doesn't pull any punches. Bosch Fawcett goes where few dare to tread. That's very kind of him to have written that. Pigman was in print 2017, I think, the first issue. I published like 5 books and 3 comics within a year, maybe 2. Pretty wild. Daniel just, this is challenging big picture stuff. It's material that most creators wouldn't tackle, not only for political reasons, but because it's so hard to pull off, and yet Fawston does it. The Infidels' closest parallel is Frank Miller's Dark Knight, the only truly relevant post 9/11 comic. It's very, very kind to him, man. It's Pigman on a mountain just looking over. Vigilance. That was the cover, the print cover to the Infidel 1 with Frank Warner saying jihadists, basically this is him doing his best Batman, Bruce Wayne. Jihadists are a superstitious and cowardly lot. So my disguise must be able to strike terror into their hearts. I must become something terrible, something they fear. I shall become a pig. Love it. Trevor says, maybe an older football lineman about Pigman? Yeah. Mikey Getz says, Katie went off on the Wheelers defending you. I loved it. Worth checking out. If you haven't seen it, I have. It was a little clip that someone sent, and I appreciate the hell out of it. I do. Those guys are scum. Flat out scum. I mean, who the hell are they? It's like, who are you to come and try to take my campaign? Hey, Johnny. Johnny says, great show so far. Hell, appreciate it. Thank you very much, man. Just showing off my old Pigman drawings over the years. This is the back of my first Pigman card. They came to kill us and will die for it, Pigman. Born 9/11/01, height 6'5", kills too many jihadists to count. This one I really like. Throw them into the fire they started. Throw them into the fire they started. Trevor says, Pigman getting his costume needs an Edna Mole character. No capes. I know. It just, I don't know. It's so quaint. It's like Superman, Batman. That's about it. Any modern ones? Not really. Not really. I mean, can you imagine Pigman with a cape, like a pigskin leather cape? Absolutely not. Impossible. And he doesn't have shorts either. He has a short gloves also. Johnny says Dark Rift Comics was defending Mike Wheeler today. Was he? What a gimp. He backs cancel pigs. Huh. Interesting. Defending him from him trying to cancel me? That's pretty bad. Alexander says, please give a like for the algorithm, everyone. Thank you, Alexander. I appreciate it. And yes, guys, if you can just do that, if you could like it on YouTube, on X as well, and if you could subscribe to my YouTube channel, I would really appreciate it. Thanks, Johnny. Johnny says, please remember to like, sub, share, and back Pigman, please. This is my design for this thing here. This thing. This little, I guess, statuette. This is my design. I gave it to them, and they came back with big eyes and different. I said, no, please, just stick to it, please. I did the work, just stick to it, and they did. This was one of my absolute earliest drawings of Pigman, and it could be one of the last ones. Okay, this is it's ridiculous. He had combat boots. He was lean, shredded, and he had "Let's Roll" on his chest, and he had big ears like that. It's just a spirit of it, though. This is like a, Captain America punching Hitler moment. And with Osama bin Laden screaming, Allah. This is like the first, I think, sketch and doodle. I think it was. Ended up being different, clearly, but the spirit was there. The spirit was there. Yes, Art says, likes for the algorithm, repost for leftist tears, indeed. And they really, really hate Pigman. It's like, guys, I don't know. I think you're telling it on yourselves by doing that. You don't hate jihadists. How the fuck can you hate a fictional hero who takes on jihad? Who defends left, right, whoever. Even that one leftist writer, he goes, I'm so sorry, it was, why would you save me after I wrote all those terrible things? He goes, mister, I don't know who you are. Let's go. I don't know. Pigman looks like a phantom here. Does he? Trevor? Interesting. Oh, you meant something else. I think you may be right. Some more index cards, Pigman. There he's like a big meaty fist right there. I think this might be it, guys. Yeah, that's the last one. Guys, I do got to get going. Thank you very much for being here, guys. Yeah, okay, interesting, Trevor. In my first sketch of Pigman, which I believe it must be, because again, I went off of that pretty damn fast. This has to be one of, if not the first, has to be. I just wanted to capture the spirit of Captain America, because again, I thought about Captain America first time. After 9/11, I said Captain America. I said, well, of course not gonna let me do it. Why would they let me? First of all, I was an amateur at that point, and also, why would they let Cap fight Islam's heroes, jihadists? They wouldn't do that. And when they did do a half-assed version of that, the jihadists was bitching and moaning, and Captain America was like, I understand. He understood. Yeah. Terrible. That's funny. I didn't even think of that. Excuse me. And this is Pigman in his in his glory. Scared shit. Guys, I'm gonna read the last few here. Flutterbat said, leaving a like is about all YouTube allows me to do anymore. Nearly all my comments on this site get deleted. This site really hates people who post facts. What the hell? That's terrible. Trevor, I'm glad you made him chunker. Absolutely, man. He has to be. And I had to also, he had to stand out a little from the rest. He's not this ready for primetime superhero. He's not a young guy. He's a writer. He's a writer. That's what he is. He wrote against jihad and Islam for years. But, his first encounter with jihad was as a boy. And I relayed that story, and it's pretty brutal. It was inspired by the Beslan massacre in Russia, 2005. If you remember that horrific, horrific story, what those children went through and what they said in the interviews after. It's harrowing. I mean, what they were hoping for. One of them was 7 years old. He goes, I was hoping for an Iron Man to come. The savage jihadists had them there for 3 days. They had their way with the young girls. They killed the parents in front of their kids. The adults, after 3 days, were drinking their pee in their shoes. Do you understand? Horrific. One of the worst terrorist attacks ever at a school. Anyway, so when I went through that, when I, watched the documentaries and everything, I could read my hands. That's when I said, okay, that's where Frank first encounters jihad at a school with a horrific attack. And he survives it, but he also does something in there that owes to what he ends up being. Let's just say that something happens, he does something, and and his parents are trying to protect him from that, but he's like, what? That was a good thing. He's confused, and his parents worrying about his innocence. He's like, that was a good thing I did. Anyway, I get really tempted to tell you guys some stuff that you haven't seen, because I'm just anyway, guys, thanks for being here. Trevor says we fat guys need a hero too. That's hilarious, man. It's so funny. Someone met me and was like, what the hell? You don't look like Pigman. I said, do I have to? Um, Pretty funny. Art says Phantom X Pigman fighting Somali pirates. That's right, man. The Phantom. That's so funny. I didn't think of that, but it does resemble a little. Take care, Mikey. Hail. Flutterbat says, great stream, Bosch. Soon as I get some funds on my CC, I'm going to be getting a Pigman shirt. Thanks a lot, Flutter. And again, guys, I'm going to do one last pitch before I go. If you haven't, back Pigman, consider it. I keep saying it, and I will keep saying it. There's nothing else like it out there in comics or in entertainment. There just isn't. People are too stupidly afraid, and by that I mean, guys, I've been drawing Muhammad for 20 years. I'm still here. I take precautions, but I'm not an idiot. I don't run into mosques in the Middle East and say, hey, let me draw Muhammad, fuckers. I don't do that. That's suicide. I take precautions. I want to challenge this enemy. I want to expose it. I want to tell the truth about it. And I want to see it defeated, at least in my comics, in my stories, at least. So check it out, guys. Watch the video. It's about a minute long. It tells you the whole gist of the story, why I do what I do. And I have a 9 pages of a preview. I have all my rewards here. 4 different covers, t-shirts, original drawings, original art. It's the only superhero takes on jihad and takes on Islam. Guys, take care, be well. Until next time. It's I talk about this, and I'm reminded of this, why I do it, and I think it's important to me as well as I go through it. It's like, okay, it's a reminder, because it's a road, man, to do this. It really is. It's highs and lows, peaks and valleys, and it's a long thing to get it out. But with the backing of CG, it's good. I just want to get more. I want to get more backers. I want to get this out to more people. So guys, if you could do that, I would really, really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Until next time, thank you.